Hello, and thanks for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network. And I'm your host, Jen Noseworthy. That's PNL Podcast for short, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. And again, thanks for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in Ireland and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. Watch and listen to PNL Podcast every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern with a YouTube live chat watch party with me, your host Jen, and a few BOG team members. For tonight's global paranormal episode on UPRN segment number 86, I've got a special guest waiting backstage from Australia and a co-host guest waiting backstage from North Carolina. Now it's time to grab your favorite summer beverage, grab a few monster munchies, and get ready for the show tonight. Paranormal NL Podcast is sponsored by the BOG team. It's a boots-on-the-ground BOG team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland, Canada. If you find yourself coming back to the show and you like the content, smash that subscribe button. Gratitude, it all helps, folks. Grab your PNL Podcast and BOG Team merch on TeePublic on our Linktree Paranormal NL Podcast. Now, all BOG Team music heard in the intro and the exit is available for download and use on all social media and streaming music platforms. PNL Podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things. Now, let's get on with the show. I'd like to give a shout out to who recommended the guest tonight, and that would be PNL Podcast Alumni Network member from season 3 and 4, Andy Booth with Alien 8 UK and the UFO Files. So I'd like to also welcome on the stage right now, we've got our co-host, Mr. Rob Shelsky. Welcome, Rob.
Hello there. How are you doing tonight?
Welcome back to United Public Radio Network, Rob. So for the folks listening around the world, do you want to give a shout out to a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am a MUFON field investigator X. I was it for 3 years. I am an author of 83 books now, and I love investigating anything paranormal, including ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, you name it, I like it.
Well, thanks again for being back on the show and co-hosting. And now our guest tonight, all the way from Australia, we have Mr. George. I'm going to let George say his last name so I don't mess it up. Is it Mitrovic? Is that correct?
Mitrovic is the anglicised version. Mitrovic is the ethnic version, but the Australians didn't know how to pronounce it.
Nice. Now, what part of Australia are you in? New South Wales, is that right?
Yes, I'm in New South Wales, in Sydney, or a suburb of Sydney, in a gated community for old people waiting for death.
Now, Rob used to live in Australia, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived in Ballarat and in Melbourne, and actually, I was in at St. Kilda's Beach, I think it was, when they were filming On the Beach there. And I got to see Ava Gardner, and I think it was Gregory Peck who started the movie. Have you ever seen On the Beach?
Many, many years ago, and I didn't realise you were over 35.
Way over 35.
So, George, you got a lot of books yourself. I've got actually a book here I can hold up that I got, and I was interested in it because I seen the word Newfoundland and Labrador on it. And, it's not, maybe if I remove this, it's not quite often you see a place or a book that's got Newfoundland and Labrador on it. And when you do, you want to snatch it up and see, what's this? So what got you into doing books about different states and provinces?
I started this series of states and provinces of North America because I realised that cryptids cannot stop at the Canadian border. They tend to travel all over. Last Christmas, the Christmas just passed, I published 29 up until yesterday afternoon when I finished Pennsylvania and Prince Edward Island.
Wow.
Which got 5 pages.
You've been a busy bee, George.
Nothing much happens in Prince Edward Island, but I have to list all of them because that's how you find patterning.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of sea creatures around Prince Edward Island. I know you talked a little bit about mermaids in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, I've talked about lots of things in Newfoundland and Labrador. That was a few books ago, and my memory is like a sieve. It retains nothing.
Do you have a favorite creature, George, that you'd like to write about?
No, I love all of them. I mainly work on, and it's a long story, and we've only got an hour, and my interviews normally last 2 to 3 hours, so we've got to hurry. And that is many, many years ago when I was sort of prepubescent. I started reading the books of Harold Wilkins and the early work on the Andy experiments and basically all the paranormal stuff that you didn't believe existed then when I was 8 years old. And well, I'm not 8 years old anymore. I'm well over 70. And I noticed similarities in sightings, but not in the sightings. And what it is I noticed that you'll have a hill or a mountain or a small area, and there's a Virgin Mary sitting in a tree and her devoted Catholic acolytes standing around it and doing whatever they do with a Virgin Mary standing in a tree or a cave, but they seem to like them. And on the other side of the hill, you've got hunters and other people in the wooded area, and they suddenly say, "Ah!" Bigfoot suddenly appears and goes. I thought, okay, that's just a coincidence. But to my reasoning, coincidences don't occur in threes.
No.
Another area near it.
Right, that's right.
Another area, you've got a traditional favourite. And remember, I'm reading these books in the early 60s. And that is, this local commune is sitting there, they're blissing out completely. And this is an early date for communes. And suddenly there's the ramp comes down, the tall 7 foot tall blonde Nordic creature comes out, give them a whole litany of disasters that are about before mankind, and then it leaves, gone. And I thought, hang on, what's happening here? And as I continued collating data, because that's all I do, I'm a data collation machine. This is my actual library, or part of it. It is not an AI thing. I could easily go to any pick it up physically. I've got 166 or 167 or more books out at the moment. I've also got an echo, which is a little annoying, but that's life.
I love all the special sound effects, though, George.
Oh, of course. I've been practicing for years. This isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah, I like the one with the saucer coming down. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's a traditional one. My brain was fascinated by not by synchronicities. I started collating data in A to Z format. Put down a place, write down the phenomena, and I had all this system of old typesetting boards, so I could put all the data. This is pre-computers, remember?
Okay.
So, but I had this huge alphabetical thing which I could keep adding from all the different books I was buying. Data that isn't in just one, because you have to have an overview. And the overview is important because I enter data with a simple theme, and that is, what is it going to reveal to me? I'm not going to do I need to do a book on Bigfoot in Alberta that fulfills all of my parameters and promises. That's easy. You just grab data on Alberta and pick out the ones you want to satisfy your parameters and promises. Leave the rest, they don't work or they don't fit or they've got other phenomena with them that you don't like writing about. No, I throw it all in there because that is what has been recorded. All of my books, incidentally, have bibliographies, which are very rare in the wonderful world of paranormal and UFO writing. I want you to go to the sources. It's not me making this stuff up. I haven't got that much of an imagination. I'm a collating machine. I want you to go to the sources. Read those books. Read them from the original authors, and hopefully you'll find their sources. I was saying to somebody on a Facebook site last year, and they said, what use are you? All you do is collate data. You've never seen anything. I said, you know what the use of me is? Without me publishing it, no one would have heard of your sighting. Literally.
Okay. Yeah.
How long are your books?
You must have some spreadsheets of data, George. My goodness.
I've got tons of data. A huge programming system I've set up over the years, which has killed numerous computers over the years as well. My average book these days, these little ones on the provinces of North America and states, 100 to 140, 200 pages.
That's an example of your bibliographies. There's a lot of pages. Yeah.
I usually have 6 to 8 items of data per page.
A lot.
A lot of books have 6 to 8 items of data per book. The rest is travelogue. I've never traveled there. So I'm not going to give you a travelogue to somewhere I've never been. It's for data. And I've been working on those data patterns since I was 7 or 8, which is rather an odd hobby for a person growing up in the backwoods of Australia.
Yeah,
but I was always rather odd.
So all these different places that you're writing about, you've been to?
No, there are too many of them.
I was going to say, you must be a great traveler to have gone to all these different places. But do you have a favorite place that you like to write about?
I like North America.
Yeah.
It's got lots of things and an English-speaking and reading audience.
True.
Sort of.
It does. It does indeed. Rob, do you have some questions?
Well, yeah, I'd like to know, having lived in Australia and being an Australian citizen now, I got it 4 years ago, on my mother's descent. I'd like to know, I don't know anything about cryptids in Australia. I know about UFOs. I know there have been sightings of those. But do you have cryptids over there? I've never heard anything about it.
How many would you like? I've written about all of them.
Five.
I've got 2 big books on Yowies of New South Wales. And a Yowie is the Australian version of a Bigfoot. The title was translated to Bigfoots of New South Wales so that people in North America would understand what I was writing about.
Have you been on with Sarah Bignell, George? With
I don't
Yowie
know.
Central? She's got a
No one
podcast.
in Australia has ever contacted me.
Oh, okay.
I find
Yeah.
most people in most major groups don't come near me or touch me with a stick. Yet I'm always having interviews, and I've written more than most people on the subject involved. But I am a little radical with everything. I believe in data. I
Right.
believe in the information. I believe in the patterns created by the information. Because a lot of bias comes into writing. Oh, the other big book was Yowies of Australia. And all of my books in those regards have maps. Because I love maps. A lot of my books on cryptids have maps so you can see where the sightings were. And you start seeing patterns you didn't think occurred, didn't think would exist. Like, do you know there are more Bigfoot sightings around Los Angeles than the north of California?
That's strange.
And that's just from a map.
Well, no, Northern California is heavily forested. So, yeah, I could see that.
But there are
No.
more around Los Angeles.
Well, there is a forest around Los Angeles, but it's kind
There's
of
also desert
concrete.
and varieties of desert Bigfoot.
Desert Bigfoot. Okay.
There are lots of different types of Bigfoot. Let me start with a story I use in every interview, and everyone seems to get a laugh out of it, or they're just trying to get rid of me, but they usually ask me back. And that is, this is a story, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen. One morning at 2 a.m., Randy and Andy are going for a drive through the forest. It's late. They might have had a couple of beers. They might not have had a couple of beers, but they're doing what young men do, which is go for a drive in the bush for no apparent reason. Just because it's there, and I used to do the same thing. I still do sometimes. And Randy says to Andy and says, I've really got to get out of the car, and I use the United States statement to relieve myself. I'm not sure if the Canadians and Newfoundlanders are that discreet. We usually say we need to get out of the car for a whittle.
There you go.
And of
I
course,
was going
they
to
get out
say
of the
whiz. Yeah, there you go.
A wee or a whittle or a whatever.
Yeah.
But the United States people like euphemisms. I think it's their Puritan background. They're not as wild as the Canadians, which I like. I know some great people in Canada have interviewed me over the years.
We went pretty wild recently for the Habs when they won. So we're crossing our fingers this week. They win again.
Okay, well, good luck with it. I don't know what you're talking
It's
about, but
hockey.
good luck with it. Oh, okay. Not really a popular sport in Australia. There isn't much ice.
Not much ice, no.
But anyway, Randy and Andy, they've been driving. They had to get out to have a wee. No, that doesn't sound unusual. And why is this silly old fool talking to us about it? Because one of the most common reported UFO events is a person or two people get out of their car to urinate, and next second something is screaming, yelling, jumping up and down and throwing things at them. And this is a common theme. It's also Anthropology 101. It's standard simian behavior. And if we're not sure about the meaning of simian, it means gorillas, apes and monkeys. Our relatives, we believe. Though sometimes I think they're a bit smarter. You have been marking their territory. We're getting down to basics here. They don't like it. That solves the problem with a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Yes, we don't see them that often. They camouflage well in big trees that are brown. Most reports of them are in the tree line in the shadows. Very hard to see. They also are quite scared of us. And yet there's another strange phenomenon that occurs. every, let's say, United States child from the time they're knee-high to a grasshopper has been in the forest shooting squirrels. They reckon they can shoot squirrels off a tree stump at 200 yards. I'm sure there are Canadian boys who are the same, and some girls. Yet, when we meet these people who are mainly hunters and who are mainly witnesses, they try and shoot something between 9 and 12 foot tall at 20 to 30 feet. Oh, excuse me, I missed. Excuse me? Why did they miss if they're so bloody good at shooting? Sorry, the language.
No, it's good.
A little
We use that
strange.
in Canada.
That's not a swear here.
Yeah.
In fact, there are other sightings where Point Isabel, Ohio, in 68, 69, if I remember rightly, and I recently found another one in Pennsylvania where the people shot a Bigfoot and it exploded.
It
It
exploded.
exploded into energy.
Oh.
As I said, I write in my books, I am not responsible for what people have published. I'm here to give it to you to read.
Yeah. Give you the facts and let you figure it out.
Yeah, you work it out. Half of this stuff is driving me crazy, but it's there. It's being published. Somebody has put their gonads on the line to write this book on this particular cryptid or animal or whatever. I'll give them the credit doing it. And also, I know
Aren't
how
you
difficult
guilty
it
by
is.
association, though? I mean, if you republish what they've written, aren't you also guilty by association?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like you were saying, you're not responsible for what they write. But if you're rephrasing it and writing about it, then you are kind of responsible, right?
Yes, we could go into semantics over that, but I think we'll still start at the moment.
George, out of all the data and stuff that you put together, do you have any of your own summations on Bigfoot or ideas on what you think that?
Well,
that they
that's what I
might
was
be?
continuing with. There are three types of Bigfoot. The anthropoid ape theory lives in the forests, generally hard to catch, impossible to shoot, except for 7 reports I have of people killing them, but never reporting them because they're terrified of being arrested for killing a human because they weren't sure what it was. And you'll have to read this set of books to find all of them. One goes on for pages and pages, and I think that was in New Brunswick, I think in the 1948.
Okay.
But it's a long time ago, but still they're exceptionally rare. And with these, we'll just finish off on the terrestrial Bigfoot first. And that is another common sighting is Randy, but not Andy. Randy and Mandy are in the middle of the forest in the car at 2:00 in the morning, obviously studying for their SATs. I mean, what else would you be doing out there?
That's what they tell their parents. Right?
Yeah, and that's what we did.
Right. Yeah.
Not one textbook ever entered one of my cars or headed off to the forest.
No.
Next second, we do have some noise sometimes, or we suddenly have a big furry face looking through the side window at them, which tends to upset Mandy. Go to the zoo next time, see what the major preoccupation of simians is. Observing what the Bigfoot was doing, observing Mandy and Randy. It's normal, sexual, ape-like behavior. So they're 2 Anthropology 101 answers for a lot of Bigfoot sightings. The second class is the mythological sightings, the Wendigo, things like that, of which 8,000 or more books have been written. I'm not even going to try and compete with them, because you can go to any number of libraries and find it. We'll leave it at that. But there's a third type which got me even more confused. Imagine October 1954, France, the biggest UFO flap in French history, documented by Amy Michel. The witnesses are doing whatever they're doing, walking, riding bicycles, selling onions. I've got no idea. It's written down in my books. Sometimes it isn't. Next second, it's back. The ramp comes down. It's not orthons from Venus. It's not a grey. It's not a little green man. It's a little furry man with huge eyes. A little foot. But what? There were 9 of these furry sightings in October 1954. But okay, that's just an aberration, but they're in there. Who are we to decide what an alien's meant to look like? We aren't. Because we are heavily involved with what they view. In 1968, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Local farmers are seeing lights in the sky and strange noises, and then suddenly, yes, do you want to do it, Rob, or will you leave it to me? Into the forest next to the farm. And who comes out of the forest? A big foot. About 8.5 foot tall. And remember, Star Wars didn't come out till 1975.
True.
Where did this common imagination come from? Or was it not imagination? From 1969 onwards, there have been a lot of large, hairy hominid sightings in relationship with UFOs. They don't fit into Anthropology 101. These are the mysteries I like. You see them coming out. You see them going out. There are a couple of reports of being thrown out while the thing's hovering. You know, there's even one from 1909 in Wales. Where this airship arrived. This was during the Great Welsh Airship Flap and Independent Religious Revival. Funny how they go together. And airship comes down, huge men in huge hairy coats and hairy masks and faces came out of it, and these big dogs came out and ran around, and then the men collected them, they went back in, and the heads go. Of course you've got to let the dog out every now and again.
Right, yeah.
These are humanizing things. It's like the reports I have. Report Pennsylvania, I think it was 1969. UFO happily buzzing around, flying a little erratically, according to the witnesses, went straight through a billboard. Then off again. Who was driving their parents' UFO at the time? We have to allow for every age group and every type. Or was it because they suddenly came out of another dimension and, whoops, what's this one? Because a common feature with a lot of cryptids and Bigfoot and aliens is they look as surprised to see you as you seem surprised to see them.
True that. They're just flying out of the sky. Nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah, next second,
and why.
Which reality is this?
So you believe it's different dimensions, maybe? Do you think, George?
In a lot of cases, yes. But I also believe, or my postulate is, after 60 years of research, intensive research, because I'm extremely anal about patterns and things. It's Asperger's that does it to me, but it's what gives me the ability to write so many books so fast. And, you know, I get upset if I don't write a book within a week. And that's edit, collate, get it
Rob,
ready.
how about you? What do you think about that?
What's that?
About which aspect of it?
About how often he writes his books.
Well,
you have a lot of books too.
Writing the book is, I was going to say, writing the book to me is the easiest part. Verifying the facts in the book is what takes me time. I have to research it. I want to find 3 sources for everything I cite in the book as some reasonable evidence that it might be really so. And I think it's the research part that takes the time. It sounds like you're writing almost chapbooks. Are you writing chapbooks?
No, they're a chronological order with bibliographies. every
No,
recorded
chapbooks
sighting.
just basically short books. They're not necessarily substandard.
Well,
just
they're
long-
based
long
on
books.
whatever research there is. I've written books up to 1,700 pages
That's it.
on strange phenomena
You've
worldwide.
got a lot of facts compiled in all these books, and I'm sure it sounds like you've got some sort of theories. Like you said, you think it's interdimensional, right? Most of it, you think?
A lot of it
Yeah.
is
I
the
think so.
human brain has a saving mechanism to normalize situations according to its own cultural loading or cultural expectations. There are areas that keep shifting on Earth, and this is where I get into a lot of crap with researchers and people and geometricians and the rest of them, because I don't believe in anything being fixed. Everything moves. All matter moves. Everything is in constant movement. These areas constantly shift. I don't look at the phenomena. It's interesting. I look at the time and place of the phenomena. And I've found that they form lovely sine waves and repeatable mathematical patterns, which means they're related to energy. And we have different energy intersections. I call it electromagnetic harmonics. They vibrate at different rates. The postulate being, at this particular vibration point, an opening occurs. Could be to a wormhole, it could be to an anything. It could just be free states of matter. I haven't been in one to find out, but I've seen the results of what's happened in there. And the human brain, when they're busy observing or suddenly coming across this thing at 3 o'clock in the morning, it adapts this pure energy point into what it believes it could be. Because the real parts of the matter are the objective time and place. The rest is subjective and how it's interpreted by the observer. And that can even include physical traces, lots of physical traces, human body responses, actinic burns, radiation, strange things like that. They're being exposed to high energy sources. And some people don't like that idea. They want the simpler way down, that Orthon comes down, gives them a whole lot of crappy promises and heads off again. And he appears quite often. I need to find the sources of these things by collating as much data as possible and then collating the patterning on it.
Yeah, that is a common thing in happening, isn't it? When people are in close proximity to different UFOs or orbs, is one of the first things I look for is were there burns, or what do you think, Rob, or things like that?
Being a MUFON field investigator for 3 years, we were very into the hard science part of it. We were looking for burn marks, we were looking for DNA samples, we were looking for genuine photos, and we had our own people who could check the photos to make sure they weren't doctored. We had our own hypnotist who was also a doctor. We didn't go with these, I don't want to say fly by night, but these people who are self-professed hypnotists, because they can create false memories. And if you ask them to remember something in their past, they will, if they're under hypnosis, they will oblige. And then when they wake up, that becomes a fixed memory, whether it was real or not. But these people who do that, they're not necessarily giving a real memory. They're just responding to, if you said to someone, I want you to remember a past life, they're going to remember a past life for you, whether it's real or not. So you have to be very careful with hypnosis. But that's how we kind of approached it with MUFON. So
yeah, I had a very good friend in California, MUFON, who passed away about a year ago.
Oh, sorry, George.
Yeah, and my brain has just gone totally blank. Lovely man. And we co-shared an interview with Andy Decodes, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Oh, you might know him, Rob. He's ended up dying of cancer, and I started working on a book based just on cancerous reactions to UFOs.
Okay.
Because I've got the data there. It's all around you.
Right.
but I was too busy with other books to get them out of the road first.
I'd like to get some suppositions on your part or conclusions that you've come to about all this. Do you think these visitations are evil? Do you think they're good? Do you think they are basically paranormal, or do you think they are something that exists in this universe and is part of a reality we're just not seeing, like we're blind to it for some reason?
Yeah, I say all of the above, which was my favorite answer in high school, because we can't discount any of them because they're all valid reasons. Whether it's a person and their brain is converting this light and burning image into the Virgin Mary, before you know it, there's a basilica sitting there and 5 million followers. Or they're seeing Orphan from Venus, is just one of my favourites from the 1950s, coming down with strange prophecies that never come true, which is oddly enough a major theme of them. Or you see,
think that this might be people who are and how do you put this politely? Do you think they're people who are just having fantasies and they think they're real, but they're not?
Yes, in some cases, in many cases, yes.
Like hallucination or something like that.
They're hallucinating. The brain does funny things to defend itself. It tries to normalize anything. And it will create images. But what I like in the notes and the research I find is this person meets the images and the footprints are there. That's where we start finding it strange that it can't be a fantasy. It left footprints. It left burn marks. It burnt their testicles. Who knows, in some horrific examples, it's said to have reduced their lifespan by years by giving them blood cancers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is an imagination. Or if that is psychic power, my God, they've got death wishes with it. Do you understand what I mean, Rob? Of course you do.
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah. A lot of the UFO cases do result in injury and harm to people. And there's quite a few deaths regarding UFOs around the world, if you add them up. And it's been going on for a long time. But I have a question. You were talking about Bigfoot, and you must be aware of the missing children and adults that in our national forests here in the United States. I live in North Carolina. I'm really close to the Appalachian Trail here, and I go up there every once in a while, not alone. But it's do you think that they're evil, that they're eating people? What do you think's going on there?
With that particular mass disappearance thing, as I said, I work on maps. I've got lots and lots and lots of maps in my books. That's why a lot of them are expensive, because they're all full of colour maps. And all my books are large format, 11 by 8.5. So you can really see a map. Or just go to its electronic version and play with it all you want to. Because my books are in all formats. They're even on Audible now, and I think I'm the only Australian author on Audible.
Oh, really?
I'm on it too, and I'm Australian.
Good.
There you go.
And you're in the States, though.
Yeah, I'm in the States.
Yeah, you're in the States. It was limited to the States and Canada. So I figured
Audible books are limited to the States and Canada?
No, to the authors of the States and Canada.
Oh, I see what you mean.
They said we cannot accept recommendations from anywhere else or manuscripts for anywhere else. Then one day they said, we've chosen 50 of your books to publish. Could you just modify them a little bit and do it? I said, of course, bang. That was the next few weeks because they had to be modified a bit to go on Audible so the thing can read them, because it can't be my voice. I do 18 pages an hour. I've tried that. Sorry. My throat dies after an hour.
So, George, do you think these people up in the Appalachia go into a different, I guess, time-space reality or universe and get lost? Or do you think they're being taken by these creatures?
It's an interesting thing. I published one of my books on pages on the spread of Bigfoot over North America. And somebody else responded with that error, that 404 system, I think they called it. I'm not sure, so I don't really look into it, of disappearances. And it was the same map.
411, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 411 for the disappearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the apparent disappearances. Yeah, I kept
He
thinking
was
of
a
Error
detective.
404.
Yeah, he was a detective. He did pretty well with it, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
It's an
has a very
interesting
negative
theory.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But if you look at how do we remove the number of human psychos out there happily killing people, and North America is quite famous for them, other people just getting lost in the woods, say on the Appalachian Trail, which goes through 12 states now. I did according to my trivia game the other night. How many people get lost there in the forests?
Exactly, or even just trip up and fall down or break a leg and they can't get out. Their actual physical body really won't last that long. It'll be eaten by the creatures, right?
The cleanup crew will
but
come
they
in.
usually find the bones scattered, and it's usually the objects that people were carrying, their clothing, their backpacks, all sorts of things.
If we're in a position to find them.
Well,
That's
sometimes they're just not going to. But with David Paulides, and I've done some research on that as well. These people, there was one case where families walking in the woods, and the little boy and another boy decided to run ahead and hide behind trees and scare the family. Not far, just a matter of 20, 30 feet. And the one jumped out and scared the family, and the other one didn't. Now, this kid was quite young. I think it was like 8 or 9 or even younger than that. They didn't find him, and they never found him. And they searched for weeks, and they had literally over 1,000 people searching for him. They finally found one shoe miles away, and they don't know how such a small child could have gotten so far with only there to lose it unless he was being carried. And one witness said they thought.
Well, a wolf could have picked up that shoe and went on with it because they love, dogs love playing.
Yes, they could. But
right?
where's the body? Where's the stuff the boy had with him? Where's the clothes? Where's the bones?
Dragged off by animals.
Let me answer with a statement. One of my favorite spots to write about, I just finished it in Pennsylvania, is the Black Forest of Pennsylvania. Amazing colonial and modern history of people just going out to check for cow, gone. Mm-hmm. Equally amazing history of giant birds with 15 to 20 foot wingspans.
Thunderbirds.
And reports of them picking up children.
Right.
Most people don't think of it. And those birds have been reported for 200 years in that area. They've been reported on the Texas-Mexico border. They've been reported in northern California. You also have the Devil's Forest near Los Angeles, where, similar to your children, little David Emmons or whatever went around the rock, and we never saw him again. And the same particular park, this national park, has a high incidentality of kids just gone. But once again, what sort of animal are we looking at? And we can't discount the fact that we are the most evil animal of them all.
I was just going to say, could it be human? Yeah.
Well,
we'll never know.
Yeah, but I mean, and a lot of people that disappear are full-grown adults carrying knapsacks and things. There's a case of a woman near Crystal Lake out west, and she decided to walk ahead of the hiking group, or she wanted to. They decided to take a rest, and she was walking ahead, and they were just walking around the lake, and she disappeared, and nothing of hers was ever found, ever. Years and years later, nothing has ever come of it.
And then on the flip side, did she want to disappear? Did she want to run away?
A lot of people intentionally disappear.
I believe she was in her 70s. I don't think she wanted to disappear. I think
she's in one of my books. But I've got every disappearance like that in all of these books. I mean, this little selection.
If you're talking about a Thunderbird taking a person, is that any stranger than Bigfoot taking a person?
None whatsoever.
There's been a bigger uptick in those instances lately of people saying they've seen them.
Yeah. And photographed them.
And don't forget, you've also got...
Right.
Free trip to Venus, come on down, gone.
George, what do you think of the disclosure?
I haven't looked at it. I remember seeing the thing that looked like a Tic Tac. And I think if that's as exciting as it gets, I'll leave it to the scientists and MUFON to work out.
Oh, no, they've just released, they're releasing it in tranches, I believe this expression, but they released a whole bunch of new stuff. And written
There's a
stuff
new
as well.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. And if you're a data collator, you really should check it out because it is a font of stuff. And this is by the CIA, the FBI, and military branches of the government.
All the alphabet soup are releasing their stuff.
Yeah, and it's
so your books, you know, a lot of them might actually be documentaries.
A lot of my books are documentaries.
Well,
like those red books in the background, that row behind the statues. Yeah.
Okay.
Middle ground set of red books. That's 22 volumes, 7,000 pages from 1600 to 1999.
Wow.
Worldwide.
That's a lot of information.
All in chronological order. And that's a satellite.
Do you have a favorite topic that you like to collect? I know you collect a lot of topics, but do you have a favorite?
No. I'm used to Bigfoot because people keep asking me about them because I've written more on Bigfoot than anyone else. And I like talking about Bigfoot.
What do you think about have you seen the new film, Patty, PG film? I know people have been saying that, you know, talking about it, if it's true and whatnot, but I haven't seen the release of what they're talking about yet. Have you? I
don't watch films. I don't even watch films on television.
Oh, okay.
I spend 8 to 9 hours a day going through data, collating, editing, getting it ready. Then I spend 4 hours in the afternoon working on an academic paper confirming my thesis on, let's put it plainly. Oh, sorry, Couscous. I just accidentally kicked my cat.
Do you have your cat there to hold her? We like cats.
No, she's down there somewhere. I think with my Ugg boot. Where are we?
So you're writing a thesis.
I'm writing an academic presentation. It's been taking months, but actual work has been going on since 1973.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. We haven't found a computer system that works that we can actually map it on. But we're working on it.
Or something?
No, they all keep collapsing and doing strange things.
Well, that's the alphabet soup looking at it. Right, Rob?
I think so.
Yeah, every single source we've used lots, and now we're building we tried even rebuilding QBasic systems, but they just started fragmenting. We thought, oh, great. And now we've tried to redesign drafting systems for drawing dots on paper to get the patterns out. But the basic theory is, out of the hundreds of thousands of sightings I've looked at, and I map them all latitudinally, I changed them to longitude only, onto a flat plane, starting at 1800, going to 1999. And there's a map. This is a map I did in 1980. And if you notice, they're sine waves. They're repeatable. I had lots more, but I had the shits, pardon the expression, burnt a lot of them. Somehow this one escaped. I wish I'd kept the rest of them. We can't find anything to draw that because the systems are literally dying. What's that?
Do you find any evidence that these mappings show that they might be along ley lines, for instance?
I was just going to ask you that.
Ley lines constantly move. I got into arguments with lay people in the 80s, and they said, no, ley lines don't move. And I said, ley lines do move. Everything moves. You can sit in the Great Pyramid of Giza for the next 5,000 years. You're going to get exceptionally bored. Nothing is going to happen because its energy level has passed. We're talking about harmonics combining together. We're talking about energy flares occurring when particular combinations of harmonics come together. That's why we have so many reports of light and burning and everything else. We're talking pure energy. And they keep moving.
Especially around volcanoes. Did you find a lot of these instances around earthquakes or volcanoes or other
No,
energy sources?
I found a
Nuclear
lot
sources?
where earthquakes and volcanoes occurred in the proximity of these,
Okay.
which is a different way of it's not saying earthquakes and volcanoes are responsible for these, but these lines of energy
Maybe
influence
that's their
the
fuel.
earthquakes.
Could that be the ship's fuel, the energy?
Well, all it is sine waves and harmonics. It's pure
Right.
energy shooting through the multiverse, because I can't limit myself to a universe.
Mhm.
But
me, the
aren't
idea
you,
of-
aren't you jumping? Well, not jumping, but aren't you coming to conclusions without a lot of evidence? You talk about energy and harmonics. Where's the proof? Where's the hard evidence for that?
That I'm
The
about
dots.
to release.
The dots.
The
right? That's what
academic
you're-
paper is on it.
Oh, is that what
But-
the paper is about?
Yes,
Ah,
the mapping of the harmonics.
Wow, that's going to be really interesting to read, George. I
But
can't wait.
it's exceptionally complex. I mean, that's just a summation. And
That's
that's
a lot.
probably 30 pages of summation.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we have collated 30 volumes of attempts at getting computer systems to work,
Wow, George, do you
because
find
we're
there-
documenting every single stage of this adventure.
do you correlate this at all with CMEs, coronal mass ejections, at all from the sun, with the energy plumes, depending on what side of the Earth?
It would include them because of a lot of cases where energy does travel through the Earth, not just around the Earth. It has to go everywhere.
Right.
But you'll get the same weird energy explosions going on this side of the Earth and on this side of the Earth at the same time.
Okay. Interesting. Do you have any
Yeah,
other
I find it
questions about that,
fascinating.
Rob? Rob, do you have any other questions about the
I'm
energy
sorry, Rob,
source?
you've gone to sleep, or
no, I was
No,
just thinking about it all. Okay,
I
you
can tell he
spent
was thinking about a question.
Yeah, I'm listening to what you're saying and, trying to absorb it. And then my questions come from that. You
Okay.
spent 60 years doing this. Have you come to any hard conclusions?
no, it just keeps enhancing what I've done. This is the basic version of what I'm proposing. It's useful because it turns subjective stories, which are the eyewitness data, into objective data of time and space. Time and space is provable. Subjective data isn't provable. It's up to the observer or the interactor. It reveals patterns that can't be seen in the descriptions. It lets us compare waves across decades and continents, and it shows us when a wave is forming, tightening, and collapsing. It's the only method that produces measurable structure. We are detecting huge harmonic waves and variances from documenting all this data mathematically, because no one has ever bothered to do it before. They kept
Yeah.
looking at the observation instead of the event and the time. The
Okay,
event
could you
and the
explain
time
that
are the
to me?
important features.
Can
It's a
you,
lot of
can you,
data.
can you explain that to me better? I mean, they're looking at the event and not the space and the time. What do you mean by that?
No, I'm looking at the space and time.
No, he's
The
plotting
event
it.
is the variable. I'm plotting it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's plotting
All
it.
of these are
Oh,
plotted.
locations.
I see.
And then we observe
I
what
would love to see this in a 3D version, George.
I'd love to see it in a 3D version, but at the moment we can't even get any stupid computer on Earth to do it in a 2D version
Wow.
What is that?
because they just keep crashing on me.
Alphabet Soup keeps stealing it. That's why.
Yeah, hopefully not, but you never know in this
What if
wonderful
you
wide
got
world.
one of those old-fashioned globes? Have you got one of them and stuck your dots all over that?
There are too many dots.
Too
We're
many
talking
dots.
tens
Yeah,
of
you're
thousands
covered.
of dots over
Yeah.
my test period of 170 years, from 1800 to 1977. The
That's a
reason
lot
I
of dots.
started at 1800 to 1900 is all the excuses for the sightings in 1800 and 1900 didn't exist then.
Mm. Yeah, that would be a lot of dots.
There are a lot of dots, and they keep growing.
But what do they mean? What is the conclusions? What is the summation of all of that?
Because where these harmonics intersect or resonate is a better term, together, is where you have these energy flares occurring that can cause earthquakes. It can trigger volcanic eruptions if they're over them, that can cause multiple UFO sightings or landings or mass healings or mass deaths. We don't know. Is it as simple a postulate as people thinking entities? We assume they have to be thinking, and they're an entity of some type on the physical plane coming from somewhere else. And in its simplest form, we want to have a look around at this planet. What can we use as a disguise? Oh, let's use a big furry creature with red eyes, because then no one will believe them. Let's use a big lake monster, because when they run out, say, I just saw a big lake monster, they'll say, yeah, you've been drinking again, haven't you, Clem? The same with
I was going to say,
camouflage.
George, with all these dots and stuff that we're plotting, have you noticed a specific area with more dots than others?
They keep changing. They keep moving. Like geographically, in, say, the 1896-1897 airship flap, which started in November 1896, all started on the northwest coast of Western North America.
Okay.
Northern California, Washington, Oregon, some British Columbia. Then it started drifting down by November into California. By April, it was in the Midwest. And these are hundreds of reported sightings, documented reported sightings. And then it turned south, and last was seen heading away from Texas. Okay, and we can say, oh, they're all fake. They're just newspapers making up copy. But how do you get hundreds of newspapers to make up copy that produces a huge harmonic pattern?
Interesting.
That lasted 7 months over one half of the continent. No,
that's a lot of
they're
data.
The patterns I look at.
Yeah, I'm really excited for your final research.
You look at 1954. Vallee's great findings. Yeah, they were great, and there are lots of them, and 1954 becomes an explosion of data. But the interesting part was they were heading from west to east, then they headed out of France to Italy, and then North Africa. Excuse me? These are hundreds of reports moving in the same direction. This is harmonics.
Interesting.
And these harmonics are part of larger harmonics. We are mapping the harmonics. Some are very small. Some are miles across. Some are very long. Some are very short.
George, I wish we had more time to talk about all this. I'm so glad that you came on the show today on UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM on the Gulf. I want you to give a shout out on where people can find your books.
All my books are available on Amazon. And if you don't like Amazon, I'm sorry, because they're the ones that got me publishing books. Otherwise, I'd still be working on the one book I started in 1973.
There you go. And how about you, Rob? Thanks again for being the co-host tonight.
No problem. I enjoyed it, actually. I learned a lot.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
And where can people find our work? Rob, where can people?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're asking me. I thought you were asking George. You can find my books at Amazon. You can find them at Simon & Schuster. You can find them at Permuted Press or a number of other book publishers. Or you can just go to Amazon and Kindle and find all of them there. Well, not all of them, but most of them. And or you can just Google me and find them that way.
Well, everybody follow George Mitrovic and follow Rob Shelsky. You're going to love them both. And watch out for George's new research coming out soon. When can we expect it, George?
No idea.
No idea. But keep watching for it because it's interesting. Yes, The
End of the
harmonics
week, right?
itself. Yeah.
Will do my best. And a simple word of advice: when you are searching, first names and surnames, lock them inside inverted commas. Otherwise, you won't find only Rob Shelskys. You'll find every Rob and every Shelsky on Earth.
True. True that.
Not many Shelskys, though. It's a made-up name, kind of. My ancestors came to America, and they shortened the name. It was Lithuanian, Shkauskas, and they shortened it to Shelsky. So it's kind of.
Oh, I like the sound of Shkauskas. It's very Lithuanian.
It's Hunter of the Weasel. I'm not that proud of it.
Well, thank you both again for being on PNL. I really loved having you both on. And
Thank
you
you.
guys have yourself a great summer. And in your case, George, you're in what right now? The winter?
Yeah, it's a warm 8 degrees.
It's a warm 8 degrees. There you go. Folks, we're going to leave you with a little bit of bog team music. And here we go.